wasn't recording.
The biggest one of the three.
We're talking about Herbert.
And we was out. My dad had to go
Yeah, that's a good one.
tend to some business. I don't know what, but he didn't ever tell us why he was going. But I mean, us kids, Mom knew where he was at, and went down. There was a little ditch, I guess you'd call it. But there was a road run right alongside it, and we was down there playing and going on. And we decided we'd go back to the house. We was getting tired. Herbert, I said, I'm gonna go find my dad. I said, "Oh, you ain't going nowhere." And I thought he was just joking, but he took off. And we went back to the house, and Mom asked where he was. I said, well, we told him we was coming home, and he was supposed to follow us. Instead of that, he went the other way, and he was gone all day.
I bet Mom was
There's
upset.
no telling where he went, but he'd been out in the where they had corn and stuff. And he got cucumber in his hair.
And he had long curly hair, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he stuck his head in a kettle that Mom had made the soap, and she forgot to empty the kettle. Well, Herbert never was afraid of water, and still ain't, I guess, but if he seen water, he had to get in it one way or the other. But he couldn't get in that kettle, so he stuck his head in it, and all of his hair come out.
Because it was lye water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it come back in curly. And it still is.
At least he's got hair.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. His hair come back just like it was. I mean, thick, but it was curly.
So how'd they get the cucumber's out of it?
Huh?
How did they get the
I
cucumber's out
don't
of it?
remember, but I know Mom picked cucumber.
I'm surprised she didn't shave his head.
Well, she had to cut part of it because they get it knotted in there, and there was no way in the world you could figure out how to get them out. So she just cut them off.
And did you stand there and laugh?
Well, I seen part of it. I wasn't interested in how she got them out, but
You found it funny though, didn't you?
Did he get a whooping?
oh no, it didn't do no good to whip him. He'd turn around and do the same thing. And Mom always had raised her own chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He get in the pen with them baby chickens and get one in each hand and squeeze it till it's good.
That would have upset Mama.
Oh, she'd give him a lashing, but it didn't do any good.
This is the man that turned into the preacher later on, isn't it?
Eventually, yeah.
God laid his hand on him someplace in life.
He got a chance to get back in that pen. He'd do the same thing again, and he knew he was going to get a whipping for it. But that didn't seem to bother him.
Tell her about what he did with that old mule.
Oh, yeah. We moved, the water got up, and we moved out of there, the lower part,
Yeah.
and we had to rent a place to keep the stock, and Herbert got down there, and he found him a stick. I don't know just how long it was, but he'd punch that old mule with that stick, and the old mule would kick at him. Well, the stick got too short, and he got too close, and he carried a scar right there on his forehead. You could see putting it inside his head.
The mule got him.
And we wasn't at home when he done that, because the stock was down to another place where he had ran it. And this woman was a heavy-set woman, like my mother was. She grabbed him up because he was bleeding. Oh, that old mule had kicked him. She grabbed him up and ran a half a mile with him to the house where we lived. Well, they taken him to the doctor, and the doctor patched it up, but he still carries this scar where that mule kicked him. It's the one that hadn't kicked his head plumb off.
But Dad said every time he'd poke that mule, the stick would break, and it just kept getting shorter and shorter, and he was still poking that mule until it got him.
He was as bullheaded as a mule, wasn't he? Yeah, he was.
Right. That's what I say. He was forever into something. It didn't make no difference what it was. Herbert was in on it.
So you traveled by horse and buggy for a long time, right?
Huh?
You traveled by horse and buggy and wagon for a long time?
Well, no, my dad had a Model T car.
Did he?
Yeah. But when we moved, it was with wagon and team. And we'd go from, every year he'd rent a different place. Well, wherever he could find to rent, that's where we went.
Your mom was a patient woman,
Yeah.
lifting everything up and moving and rebuilding again. So what
Yeah.
about your first car?
She didn't argue with him. Well, I know she didn't like it, but there wasn't much she could do about
Right.
it, because he was making the living other than what fruit and stuff she could can, and he finally rented a place, and he sowed cane, sorghum
Yeah.
cane. Oh, I don't remember how many acres it was, but they'd been, my dad rented, oh, I forget what they called, but it was 3 discs, and they rolled around and they squeezed the juice out of that cane. And my dad had a pan that he cooked it in, and it was as long as this room is wide, and it had suctions off center, backwards and forward, and he made him a paddle, or I guess you'd call it paddle, and he'd run that juice from start to finish.
Okay. My great grandfather had a sorghum farm or sugar cane, and that's my one memory is going out, and they had a 2 or 3 horses that just walked in a circle, and they kept
Yeah.
putting the sugar cane in the center, and there was a fire there, but I guess it was drawing the sugar out.
Well, he planted this just like he did this corn. He had a corn plate
Yeah.
in the box, and he'd fill that box up and go till it was empty, and then he'd fill her up again, and that's the way he grew his cane. They was in rows, just like corn.
He was a smart farmer.
Yeah.
He really was. He was a hard-working
Well,
man.
He was in a way, in the other way, I kind of thought he was off beam a few times, but maybe he wasn't. He raised us. Anyway,
So what was your first car, Don?
huh?
What was the first car you bought? What was your first
car?
car? Mm-hmm.
Well, the first one I bought was a 32 Chevy.
Did they have the crank start?
Huh?
Did the 32 Chevy have a crank start? Did you have to get out there and use a crank to get it
Well,
started?
if the battery was too weak, yeah, you could crank it and start it, but mostly my dad would pull it up to the window there in the house, and he had a cable he'd run from the car to the battery, and that charged the battery back up. But once in a while it gets so cold that battery just
Wouldn't turn
couldn't
over.
do it. So he'd have to crank it. Well, either that or jack it up one wheel in the back and turn that wheel, and he had it in gear, and you turn that wheel, it would,
Crank the motor.
yeah. I've seen him start her many a time.
Pretty
the other
creative
way.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just jocked it up high enough that it would roll and wouldn't touch the ground, and he'd turn the key on in the car and turn that wheel till it would start. And I've seen him take coals out of the stove and put under the pan to heat the oil, so it
Oh.
would be easier to turn.
Right.
It's a wonder he hadn't
Caught it on fire.
burned it up, but he didn't.
So did you go on vacations very much as you became your own man working at the Dome?
No.
Did you camp? Did you have a
Oh,
camper or travel? Okay.
All the vacation I got to go on when I
Armed.
went in service.
Right.
Then we went everywhere, all over the ocean. We'd go back. I was on a tanker, USS Giraffe was the name of it. And it had compartments in the bottom of it for gas and one for diesel. And it would hold 2,000 gallon of aviation gas and 2 diesel. And we'd go back towards the States and meet the merchant marine and take their load off, and then we'd take it up front.
He was all over in the Pacific Ocean,
Oh,
wasn't
yeah. Yeah, we'd go anywhere. We even fueled a few on moving. They'd pull up the side of it. We'd throw the rope around and their nigger heads, they call them. Yeah. They would pull us up as close to them as they could get. And then they'd had a big hose about that big around, and they'd run them from the tank to their ship and pump what they wanted off. And when I got ready, they was going to discharge me, we was loading 55-gallon drums of oil, the cylinder oil, because they had a motor on there that used oil just like your car or anything. It would. And that's the way we fuel them. I mean, that way we can be moving all at the same time and pumping the oil or the gas or whatever, oil or whatever they wanted.
How many sailors were on the ship? How many sailors assigned to your ship?
Huh?
How many hands on board did your ship have? How many of you?
Oh, it was 100 foot long.
How many sailors?
I don't remember just how many of us. It was a bunch of them. We all had a job to do on there.
And
Mostly chipping paint and painting.
And you were a gunner's mate, wasn't you?
Huh?
Did
Yeah.
you say a gunner's mate? You only
Yeah.
had 2 guns on your ship?
Well, they had 4 up front and 1 3-inch in the back.
Back.
And I was like here, and there was another one right up front and jumps over to the other side in the same thing. What there was 4 of us loading guns. And I know one morning, but we wasn't allowed to shoot at anything unless it was attacking us. Because this one little spark and there'd have been
Boom. Yeah.
why they wouldn't have been a piece big enough to find. Because it was that 1,000-gallon aviation gas and 1,000 diesel. But we got used to it. We never thought nothing about it. And at the time, I was smoking. One morning,
Were you allowed to smoke?
huh?
Were you allowed to smoke?
No, you wasn't allowed but this certain area to smoke. I was it was my day on watch, and it was raining, and I had a raincoat on, what they called it a coat that you wore when you were on duty. Yeah. I thought, well, ain't nobody gonna be out here in this rain, and I was wanting to smoke, so I lit one up, and fool like, I could have blown this all up, but I didn't. Oh, I kept watching, because they just had one way to get up on what the way they called the bridge to where the guns was. I lit one up, and I kept watching, because there wasn't but one way for them to get up there, and that was up a ladder on the side. Luckily, I seen what we call scrambled eggs on a cap coming up that ladder.
The emblem.
I thought, holy smoke, what am I going to do with this? So I just put it in my hand and
Did you spit on it first?
threw in my hand, and I held that thing. And I thought he never would leave. But it just cooked that finger, because I put it right on the fire. And I thought, how dumb can you be? I'll never do this again. But, oh, we had our fun and we had our troubles. But this one guy, he was afraid of storms. Well, he wasn't by himself. I was too, but I thought, man, that old thing, it'd get her going this way, up and down. And one minute you could look out the porthole, you could see nothing but water. And then next wave, you could see nothing but sky. And I thought, oh Lord, what did I get into?
What about the story you told me that time that one guy did shoot that gun?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Them kamikaze pilots was...
Yeah, the Japanese was buzzing around up there. And the old man kept saying, hold your fire, hold your fire. He didn't want them to fire on us. Yeah. This one guy, he thought he misunderstood the old man and said fire. So he did, boy. He cut loose on him. Oh man, and did he get a chewing out over that? But he thought he heard the old man say, hold your fire, and he thought he said fire, but he didn't. He didn't want him far.
You remember the story you told me about when you was in port and them Japanese people getting your garbage?
Oh, yeah.
And that captain or whoever it was told you to shoot them?
Yeah. They was, we was in port there one time, and here come a Japanese boat, and they was picking up stuff as they come, and they got close enough. I seen what they was doing, because the only place we had to dump our garbage was in the ocean. And they was picking up stuff that we had dumped that morning. And they was, well, like me, I wasn't rated or anything at that time, but he was, and he was giving the order. And I told him, I turned around and I told him there was a boatload of Japanese coming up closer. He said, "Well, you got a gun, shoot 'em." I thought to myself, "Well, I ain't gonna shoot them people. They ain't really done nothing to me." And I was always taught that it was a sin to kill anybody else. And I wasn't about to kill them people. They were hungry and they was hunting food.
Right.
And they seen where we dumped it, and that's what they was getting.
Right.
It was the garbage that we would dump. But I just aimed off to the side and fired, make the officer think that I shot out of them.
Good man.
And they took off because they knew they wasn't supposed to be that close to us anyhow. But
So, did you have pretty good food on the boat, on the ship?
oh yeah, we had a guy that looked at everything. It was edible on there.
There was a lot of guys, young guys with healthy appetites to be
Oh,
feeding 3
yeah.
times a day and more.
Yeah. And I sailed, I don't know how many sets of dishes, just stand there on the deck and throw them in plate after plate, saucers, cups. Well, the whole set went if he seen a crack or chip place in them. That whole set went in the ocean.
He brought home, he gave it to me, it means the world to me. I've got a rifle, Japanese rifle with a bayonet on it that Dad brought home from the service. And
That's
I've got
nice.
that. That's,
They allowed us one to bring home if we wanted it. Yeah. Well, I wanted one of them. They give me one, and he's got it now. 'Cause I didn't know how long I was gonna be around. 'Cause I'm 3 years old now.
Well, it's time to pass things down to your family.
and that,
Huh?
It's it's good. I'm passing things down because I want to make the decision of who I want to have certain things.
it means the world to me.
Right.
I looked it up. It was made in 1939, this rifle was. I looked the ship up, the history of the USS Draft and everything online.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
So when you were a young married man, taking care of your family, working at the Dome all the time, coming home, did you ever go square dancing? Used to be real popular. Square dancing, did you ever go square dancing or bowling?
Oh yeah,
He loves dancing.
Okay.
we went dancing. I met my second wife, my first wife. His mother was my first wife.
Uh-huh.
Well, she decided she wanted somebody else, so we broke up. And
So you were a single man and you used to go dancing.
huh?
So you became a single man and you used to go dancing.
You used to like the polka, didn't you, Pop?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, beer barrel polka is
Oh,
a
yeah.
fast one.
He was a good dancer.
Where yeah.
I could dance any of them. After I got out of service, I met another woman, and I married her. I've been married 3 times.
Okay.
And she was the one that actually taught me how to dance, and then we went to Moose there in Wood River, and we never missed a dance that was going on there. We went to all of them.
Yeah, Pop was a good dancer.
Did you drink a little bit while you danced?
Oh, no,
Have
not
a-
very much.
Okay.
There was much of
Okay.
that.
No, I never was a big drinker. Oh, I'd take one every now and then, but I mean, I never really said crave it or anything.
That's good.
I just do it for because the rest of the guys were drinking a little at the dance, and I'd get one once in a while. But we had our fun, and we never missed a dance.
Yeah, he was a dancer.
I probably couldn't do it now, but
In your mind and heart, you still can, huh?
Yeah.
yeah.
I think we all can. I used to love to dance. You know,
Well, I
Life-
did
life
too.
has happened, and
I
I-
learned, how to move your feet and
now I'm a toe tapper.
Yeah.
I do real good at that. Tapping my toes to a good beat.
well, that I never did learn. I tried it, but I couldn't get the hang
Really?
of it, so it just wasn't for me.
Did you ever play any musical instruments?
Huh?
Did you ever pick up a guitar or a harmonica or learn to play anything musical?
Well, I always wanted to, but I never could get the hang of it,
Okay.
the tune and stuff like other people. But because my dad had a guitar ever since I was born, you might say. He could play pretty good, but he tried to show me different chords to make, but I never could remember what he showed me.
I tried guitar and I couldn't get it.
I was interested in playing or doing something else all the time. And I didn't really pay that much attention to it.
So what's
But-
some of your most fun memories?
Huh?
If you're laying in bed at night and your mind isn't going to sleep, what are some of the fun memories you think back on? The ones that make you smile, the ones that make you laugh.
Oh, well, there was a lot of them that made me smile, but you mean at the dance?
Any place,
Or
any time, any
what?
place, any time of life.
Well, I never paid too much attention to the music. Oh, well, you had to keep up with the rest. I don't know if there's any one thing that made me happier.
Work.
Work.
And he taught us kids good work ethic.
It's important.
Because we never was allowed to go to dances or anything when we was growing up, because the folks, my mom and dad, belonged to the church and they didn't believe in
Yeah.
it. So they wouldn't endorse us to go any place where they were having a dance, and that we'd sneak off sometime and go, but
Didn't want to get caught.
they didn't, right? No, he didn't want to get caught. He'd tore us up. And that's Herbert, my brother Herbert. He's the only one that would run from my dad. If he was gonna get a whipping, he'd make a big circle around my dad. And he'd say, "Boy, if I ever get hold of you, it's gonna make it worse than what it would have been." And he'd catch him sometime. He'd lay it on him. But
Poor old Uncle Herbert.
He was a live
Well,
wire, wasn't he? He was a stinker.
he was hard-headed. He wouldn't listen to you.
What was Christmas like?
Huh?
What was Christmas like?
Yeah.
No, what was Christmas like when you were growing up?
Huh?
What was Christmas like?
Well, it was fairly good. I mean, we didn't get everything we would have liked to got, but they done the best they could.
I remember Mom and Dad would always get a case of fresh oranges to have under the tree. Fresh fruit was something we didn't have a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was their treat to us.
You remember some of the things you got for Christmas, Pop?
Or things you gave for Christmas.
Well, we never got to give very much. We always got something little.
That's all right, man. You can finish.
for every Christmas.
Yeah.
Mr. Don,
Yeah.
do you want Parmesan chicken breast with rice or tater tot casserole for lunch?
Come again.
You want a chicken breast with rice or tater tot casserole?
Oh, the chicken,
You want peas and carrots?
peas, and carrots.
Yeah, it's mixed together.
No,
No?
I don't want.
White
I love carrots, but I don't love peas.
white cake with chocolate icing?
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What else would you like to touch on?
Yeah.
What else would you like to touch on? We've got almost an hour again.
That don't make sense to me.
What's that?
That's cake.
Right.
The other night they had a cake
Yeah.
and they wouldn't let me eat it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that was upsetting.
That was just mean.
And then the next meal,
They'll give it to you.
they give me a cake.
It's
Now,
your turn
what
today.
was the sense of that?
I have
Then
no
they
idea.
had to go on around and I got choked.
Really?
Well, I didn't.
Okay. That was upsetting.
It sure was.
Yeah. Because you don't want to have to go to soft food. Soft food
Because-
is not fun food.
Hello.
They,
Hello. How you doing, Don?
what?
I'm just out checking on everybody.
Well, I'm just
Well, you
still
look like you're having a
here.
good time.
They got me in the corner. I couldn't
I
get
see that. They
out.
got you trapped.
We didn't put the dunce cap on him, though.
You look like you're having fun. Are you feeling okay?
Huh?
Are you feeling okay?
Yeah.
Are you in any pain?
No.
Good deal. You're looking good.
Thank you.
Keep that up. He does look really good. He's changed just a little bit, you know, get a little bit weaker.
If I could
His
keep
ankles
my
look
nose
loose for
from
him today more
running.
than
Yeah,
yesterday.
he's changed. He's having a little bit more harder time, you know, the good.
Right. Yeah, I noticed yesterday was a little slow,
Yep.
you know. From the other
Kind of have a
day.
few of the residents that's kind of taken to him, and his roommate being one of them.
Right.
So we have to watch them very closely
Okay.
because he gets him out of bed. And then at the table, they try to do all kinds of things with him. It's like, leave him alone. And it's nothing mean. They're just trying to take care of him.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
friends.
Just acts of friendship.
All right, I'm gonna leave you alone. Is it okay to leave you alone? Do you feel safe? They got you in that corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would I be afraid of these?
Because we've got you cornered.
Because you're in the corner. Lunch.
I can get out.
All right. I'm just checking. I'll chat with you later.
You still got a little bit in you, ain't you, Pop?
Yeah.
See you folks later. And you guys need anything?
Oh, they're
Thank you.
pretty nice people. Some of them.
Well, you run into that everywhere, don't you?
Uh-huh.
You run into that everywhere. Different
Right.
personalities. You know what, Don? We've been chatting for almost an hour again. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm gonna end it today. But in a couple of days, if you feel up to it, I can always come back over. This corner works really well.
It does.
It does.
Well,
I can come over in a couple of days and corner you again.
And Patty's here. I don't know if you seen Patty. Patty came in.
I'm just being quiet.
Oh, no,
No, he didn't know you was here.
I didn't. I seen somebody sitting over there.
It's me,
Well,
Daddy.
she'd
But
been,
the light, I couldn't make out who it was.
she'd been quiet.
It's me.
That's the first time, ain't it?
She gonna thump you.
Yeah, they will. All my sisters will.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this off. Okay, Don? It's been fun listening to your stories today. And in
Well,
a couple
I'm
days,
gonna tell you another one.
all right, you go right ahead. I've really got plenty of time.
She come in, but it wasn't about her, but it was her sister.
Okay? Tell me that secret. All right?
And it was her birthday, and he decided he wanted to block her face. And they was running through the house, and Mom told her, well, grab you a stick of stove wood there and hit him with it. Well, she did, and hit him in the head with it. I don't know
Cracked
if
him a
you
good one.
remember that or not.
No.
Well, I don't guess you did because you wasn't born then.
Yeah. You talking about Aunt Bernice, wasn't you?
Yeah, Mom said, well, just grab you a stick of that stove wood there and hit him in the head with it. And she did.
Good for her.
She didn't get her face black anyway.
Had to be yours.
Yeah.
Well, just silly things like that
Yeah.
we went through growing up. That wasn't very silly, but
But you laugh.
but she done what she was told to do.
She cracked him on the head, didn't she?
Yeah. Yeah, she did. And she always had a habit. Every time I'd come in the house, she'd grab me and start pounding on my shoulder. Well, she done that one time too often. I
And
laid boom on her. I guess I pretty it knocked her out. But she never done it no more after that.
The one girl out of the bunch.
okay.
Yeah. She grabbed me by the arm and just pounded thunder out of me for no reason. Just 'cause I
Just call it.
come in the house, I guess. That broke her from doing that to me
Yes.
every time I come in. I was out with my dad doing something, and he had a temper too, and I wasn't doing something other right as he wanted done. And he said, just go on in the house. So when I walked in the house, I was mad anyhow. And she grabbed me and started pounding on me. I just hauled over and
Just let her have it.
let her have it.